Jasper. My cat is eating a box behind me. On camera. Okay, now get lost.
Come sell it now. You better call the police if you see the Range Rover. That's another deal he stole with the next house he sold. If Drake likes A minor, then he's the only major player on the boulevard listening to Slayer, collecting gold keys from the mayor, buying and selling houses all night, bringing an F-18 to a night fight. Don't mess with the best, you see the S on his chest, you're messing with rock star Wilder.
Giving a little love to Hotel Mira from Vancouver, who ended up on my Spotify Wrapped playlist in the top 0.05% of Chris Stapleton White Horse listeners. On a cowboy on a white horse. All right. In September, I wrote how rate cuts were going to stimulate the housing market and increase demand. And of course, the more demand we were going to have, we were going to see an increase in prices. And we've had a really hot market in November. This is the November market report. I have to give a shout out to Melanie Bowles, the associate broker of our office, Remax Real Estate Central Branch, and also the chair of Real Estate Association of Edmonton, who releases these stats every month. If you look back versus November last year or any November in the last 5 years, this has been a really, really strong November, one of the best. Look at all the categories and let's look at what those stats are. Average days on market are down in every category. And by every category, I mean detached, semi-detached, townhomes and row houses, and apartment condominiums. So if you look at all those categories combined, the average days on market dropped to 41 from 46. The average selling price for all those categories in Edmonton and area includes Sherwood Park, Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, Beaumont, St. Albert, those areas in and around Edmonton. The average selling price is up 14.7% year over year versus last November to $436,000. The average single detached home, if you're looking at just that single detached home category, is up 12.9% compared to last year with an average of $540,000. Year to date, listings are up. The total new listings are the highest they've been in 5 years. And sales of those listings are also the highest they've been in 5 years. The reason for this is the lower interest rates. We know that we've had a lot of people moving into Edmonton and moving into Alberta, not just newcomers that have immigrated here, but also domestic immigration from places like BC and Ontario, where housing prices are really high. The job market may not always be that good. And therefore, people moving into these areas because they can actually afford to own a home here. That, coupled with the interest rates going down, meaning houses are overall more affordable, people could pass stress tests easier. That's really driving this increase in sales and listings. When you see an increase in listings like this, it might be for multiple reasons. For example, people that didn't want to sell and buy another house during the period of high interest rates because perhaps they weren't able to afford the mortgage payment on that next bigger and better house that they've been looking to buy. Well, now that they can afford it, now they're in the market, they're selling their house, they're finding bigger and better houses. So that's why you see an increase in listings and an increase in sale of those listings. The sale to price ratio is the highest in the last 5 years at 99%. The average sale price of all residential is the highest it has been in the last 5 years at $436,000. And that's over last year at $380,000 and still greater than the previous highest in 2021 at $400,000. That price of houses in Edmonton and area is going up substantially. Those interest rates are coming down, demand is increasing. If there is not enough supply to meet that demand, then we see prices start to rise. Residential average sales dipped a bit for November. It dipped a bit versus the rest of the year, and this is always pretty normal. It starts to get colder, you start to get snow, people start shopping a little bit less. They're going to wait until it gets a little bit warmer to plan their move. Sale price dipped for November to 436,000 from 440,000 in October. The strongest month so far for the Edmonton area was in May and September. For Edmonton itself was October, and this is a bit atypical because usually you see your housing sales peak in April and May and stay strong to July but drop quite a bit off thereafter. This time, I think again those interest rate cuts that we had in the last few months really sort of drove that. People maybe waited for the interest rate cuts, or they were still shopping, still had their houses listed late in the season. In the detached housing category, the southwest of Edmonton had the highest average sale price of any of the areas in Edmonton with 605,000. Whereas areas around the Anthony Henday had the greatest volume at 177 homes sold in November. For semi-detached homes, once again, the areas around and south of the Anthony Henday had the highest volume at 57 houses sold and highest prices at an average of 482,000. If you're looking for a semi-detached duplex in that area, expect to pay that price of around 482,000. For row and townhome sales, the Anthony Henday area and south again saw the highest sales at 71 units sold, but the northwest subdivision saw the highest prices at 381,000 on average. Downtown and White Ave condos still sell the most volume of condominium apartments anywhere in the city, with 67 units sold in November at an average of $221,000. That is the central region. Some highlights for the areas around Edmonton. In Sherwood Park, the average sales price is $547,000 for all types of residential. For a detached home, that's going to be $565,000. That was in November. Spruce Grove is $491,000 and a staggering $514,000 in November for a detached home. St. Albert saw an average price in November of $603,000 for a detached home and $576,000 for year-to-date average. What that means is essentially in areas immediately around Edmonton, the sort of the big three suburbs, Sherwood Park, St. Albert, and Spruce Grove, housing prices were actually higher in November than they had been for the rest of the year. This could be that people getting towards the end of the season wanted to purchase a house right away, and so they paid a little bit of a premium to do that. Let's talk a little bit about the interest rates and what they could do as of December 11th when the Fed announces that there will be another rate cut. We're actually expecting rates could fall as low as 3.5%. What that could mean is a strong December year over year, as well as people sort of stay in the market even though it's snowy and even though it's cold, more than they normally would around this time of year. And we're still seeing higher inventory than normal, but we're still seeing higher sales rates than normal. So it could still be a good time to get into the market. Have an awesome December and an awesome season leading up to the holidays. If you or anyone you know are looking to buy or sell a residential property, contact me, the Rockstar Realtor. You can find me at www.rangerealty.ca or email me at ryan.williams@remax.net.
All the realtors back down cause he's smooth. Operating y'all just a bunch of fools. While you were sleeping, he sold your bedroom. Better call you home cause you bout to move. First he sold Rogers Place, then he sold space. If your face was a house, he would've sold your face. He sold the wind, submarines, and a missile base. He signed an autograph or came right